Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Chad. Good to see you, sir. Hello. Sorry, I need another sip of pumpkin spiced coffee. Still relevant. Hey, Kate. Good morning. And skull to everybody. um, cool. All right. So let me fix something real quick and we'll get rolling. Um, Yeah, so welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swan Medium. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you didn't see the post about an hour or two ago, uh, yeah, I wasn't really sure. Is it something I was gonna obviously address? I wasn't sure I was gonna make it today, and it's a very long known issue, that I've had that, for 20 plus years. Hey, Tom, good morning. And yeah, I mean, I've been dealing with kidney stones for 25 ish, 26, 20, I don't know, somewhere in there, somewhere between 25 and 27 some years. And it, it's just been one of those things that it's always been around. So I don't think much of it on cleaning gutters in the wind, make it well. I mean, Chad, yeah, you need the moolah. There's no doubt about that. But geez, oh, Pete's in the wind, whew, especially December. Oh my gosh, man. I hope you're bundled up. Better not be in shorts or something. But uh yeah, no, I mean it's always been a thing, and it's I've had to deal with it. And it unfortunately I've been over the years I've been through several different urologists and things, and they've all have basically said the same thing. Hey, Jen, good morning. I and one of those rare types that despite all the levels, despite all the testing, hey, actually, good morning. Yeah, despite all that stuff, I've I come back normal, which who isn't. So, but oh, thanks, Nicole. I it's just something I deal with, and I don't talk about it often because it's every week. Um, so isn't something that I need to share, because obviously it'd be old. Hey, Kristen, it would get very old for me to talk about, or post about, oh, I'm dealing with stones, or I'm passing stones today. It would get old quickly because it would be so often. But then again, it would be like a routine for the rest of you, because you'd be like, holy smokes. But yeah, it's just something I've been dealing with forever. And so it's one of those rare things that no matter what I've done, I've changed diet. I've, done so many different things. I've had Jen's helped me, with some stuff. It's crazy to think that there's never been that specific perfect remedy. And I say that, whether it's medically or holistic or natural, there hasn't been that perfect little thing. And I've tried a lot of stuff, because especially once I got more down a spiritual path and things, and self-healing, going through stuff, having some others help me out. It's just one of those things. So it's but that's why I don't bring it up often, because it's just not, to me it's normal, because it's all the time. So yep, yep. And Jen's posting stuff, and yeah, I do the magnesium and potassium daily. That's been a this year kind of thing. I'm out of apple cider, so I haven't been doing that, but the lemon water for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy thing for me. And um it's not it's definitely not the end of the world, and you don't see me boohooing. I mean, yeah, I definitely feel, I'm in discomfort, but again, I mentioned that, I do have a high pain tolerance, which is great, because anybody that's ever had kidney stones, even just once, knows what the pain is like. And so for me, this was abnormal because it was a little bit more than the norm. Normally it's just a little ache, in one kidney or the other kidney, and then usually the next 24 to 48 hours, I'll either have a single stone, or I'll have what I call gravel, where it's basically I'm just kind of sandblasting the the potty, so to speak. Which that's always a trip. It's like, is that really possible? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, but I'm not, but you can tell I'm not boo-hooing over it. I'm still trying to have some fun with everything, and because obviously things we all know and things I've talked about, you can only go so, you can't go so deep and dark and stuff. And like I said, dealing with this for as long as I have, I mean, there's no reason to cry over it or, and that's why I thought if as long as I can sit, for a while, then it's okay because obviously, sometimes certain movements, things start shifting around and they start bouncing, and so I at least know that if there's either some really large ones, um or there's just a bunch of little ones, and that's what when they bounce around, it's so weird to think that you think of like a ping pong game where you're just bouncing things back and forth. That's basically what it's doing. It's just bouncing around the kitty until it finds its way out. um so yeah, it's definitely been interesting, the last, 12 hours or so. I mean, I did get some sleep, so I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it definitely got to the point where I just couldn't be in any single position. I couldn't be on my back or on my sides, which is normal for me. And I just finally ended up getting up well after 5:30. So I mean, it was way better than, I got past my alarm, for work, so that's okay. But even then, as I just mentioned work, I mean, I'm officially back on vacation again, which this was a terrible way to segue into, a full week off of work. Which, not what I expected, but that's okay. You roll with it, and hopefully after today or so, it won't be so bad, and I'll be able to kind of not feel as achy, and sore in spots, because that's what it for me. It's kind of like bruises. Everybody knows what a bruise feels like. You see the discoloration, you push on it, because you're weird, and you feel that dull pain, and that's what it feels like. And it's just in specific, spots, which, at first dealing with kidney stones, exactly where your kidneys are at that point. So I could easily, transition to working with kidneys and things, because I know exactly where they are. I felt mine very well over these, 20 some years. But yeah. So, but like I said, yeah, I'm on vacation again, so it's kind of nice. What stinks is, that's why I'm hoping this will kind of, um, just kind of run its course and be done through this weekend, so I can kind of get back to some other things. Because I was trying to, you know, get with my week off. I had a set number of days I was going to try to get some stuff done. I have a bunch of sessions, readings, and some healings that I've been meaning to schedule, but I was making sure that I got back, just because, things change. And even then, uh, you know, most of the family was dealing with something, illness wise. I think I posted my son probably had it the worst, where he had more of a low grade fever. My daughter and I definitely had some type of, small cold, because that started, a couple days before coming home from Disney in Florida. And which wasn't bad, because it was just once in a while you just, had to, get a tissue and do your thing. But luckily it wasn't constant. And then so but nothing ever really got worse, between her and I. And then my son, we think he obviously caught something in Florida, and yeah, he went to school Monday, and then he, that night he started, spiking 101, and it was like, "Ugh," and then he still had, the same thing in the morning, and it was just not right. So kept him home. So he more or less had a fever for like 24 hours, because then by Tuesday night, yeah, Tuesday night, he was just finally hitting 99. So we thought, well, we'll just let him stay home one more day. And that way, just to be on the safe side, which helped, because he got a little bit more. Hey, good morning, Sharon. So he had, I don't know if I want to, I hate to say it was like a 24-hour thing, or maybe 48-hour. I don't know. But he's always kind of had that. He's always, been known to have low grades, like when something gets a little bit more intense for him. So, wasn't out of the ordinary, but it's, he definitely gets colds a little bit more frequently. But, he's also not as conscious to make sure he doesn't. Hey, Tammy, good morning. He's not as conscious as to constantly washing his hands like a lot of us do it, even, before like the pandemic and stuff. I mean, I was always washing my hands, because like at work, I'm touching a lot of things that everybody, has to monkey with the audio visual equipment. So, I mean, it's just like, even I know when I'm having to test things and I have to touch a touch panel and stuff that, operates the equipment. And I'm just like, "Ugh," and I'm not a germaphobe. So it doesn't bother me. It's just like, I'm conscious to not then touch my face. So that way, there's not a chance of getting sick. And so, maybe that's kind of like a germaphobe, but I don't mind getting dirty. That's the thing, is and doing what needs to be done. So I'm not freaking out. It's just, I'm just conscious not to then touch anything that might, get me sick, because I don't want to bring something home. I think a lot of people would agree with that. So, so yeah, so I mean, so it's definitely been a weird segment of trying to like get back into the swing of things, because now all that, the Old Mill Pear Fest is, behind me. Now the Disney trip is behind me. And so I was going to, get some stuff done, and then, schedule things. So now I'm just kind of waiting I'm just going to play it day by day, so that way I can start scheduling things again, and get back to everybody, because there's so many people. Hey, Chris, good morning. Because there's so many people that have requested things, and I was just like, well, let me get, going again. And then we'll figure it out. So, definitely we'll be getting things, even if I don't get to a lot of things next week, then I will still be able to, because when I go back to work, I'm only going to work my last 4 days on site. And then starting, I think it's Friday the 16th, if I'm not mistaken, I'll then work from home from that Friday through the following week, which leads us into, Christmas weekend. So then I'll be home, so I won't have to drive anymore. So I mean, that's going to be cool too. Hey, Sean, good morning, sir. And so I'm excited to, only have 4 more days on site, and then I'll be working from home, for like 6 days, essentially. And then we're back on Christmas break, but then everybody at work gets the week between Christmas and New Year's. But we also don't have to go back until January 3rd, which I think is Tuesday. So they give us, kind of since New Year's and Christmas are on a weekend, then they're giving us an extra day or two to enjoy it. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of how the rest of the year is going. And I want to schedule things, get things done. So I'm just, still patience for those that are waiting. I have not forgotten about everybody. It's just, you things happen, life happens, and you gotta just kind of roll with it. And I'm doing a lot better, not stressing over that anymore. I used to stress pretty hard, and I've kind of learned a lot this year, even for myself. I mean, even through the beginning of summer, I was that way. I was always freaking out that I couldn't get to somebody right away. And so it would bother me to no end. And then that didn't help. So, but, so yeah, I appreciate the patience. And it's the crazy thing is my schedule I didn't think I was going to be this full, even in December. I mean, I had, this weekend, there's a couple little things happening. Next weekend, I kind of kept free, which was great, because then next weekend show is going to be, it is confirmed. I will be at a different location, and I will have a very lovely guest slash co-host, because that's how I'm going to treat it as, sitting directly next to me. So next Saturday's show is going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be a great weekend. So it's been long overdue, to see this person, and to then again be able to sit side by side and do a show together. Like, it's one thing, she's been on the show before, and I've been on her show, and we've done a bunch of other shows, but to actually sit side by side, and then we can actually like look at each other instead of like staring through a screen. So I'm excited to do this next weekend. So next weekend show will be great. So I don't know if she wants me to say who it is. I mean, most people probably could figure it out after a little while, because I do mention her quite a bit. But if she's still watching and she's okay with it, she'll post. She'll post in the chat if it's okay. I don't want to throw it out there, because like I always feel bad like if I don't get like permission to do that sort of thing. So that's why sometimes I'll hint at things, but I don't, because I just don't know. And some people are comfortable with it. And like I said, I just always take, yes, see, there you go. See, there it is. So yeah, look, I'll even help people out too. So yeah, so I'm going to be hanging out with my friend Jennifer Passavant next weekend. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a lot of cool conversations. Who knows what other kind of cool things we're gonna get into, but I mean, I'm super excited to hang out with her. I have not seen her if we were to get into March of next year, it would be exactly 3 years, since I've seen her. So it's that crazy that we've not been able to hang out. Now, granted, we know why part of that was that case. But we always kept thinking that we'll run across, we'll do some event together, where we'll at least be at the same thing, and it just never worked out timing wise. I was always scheduled on something, she was always scheduled on something. So yeah, it worked out. But yeah, Jen will be my guest slash co-host. Like I said, it just going to be fun that my whole concept of the mid-morning show is us sitting around. Hey, Bonnie, good morning. We're all going to be sitting around, and this will be great because who knows what we'll come up with. I mean, we'll probably have some light idea of a topic. We'll still try to keep up with a little bit, but then again, with the normal routine, but with Jen by me, next to me, then we'll probably just kind of go back and forth. But I think Jen's really been great. She always helps. She's one of my go-tos when it comes to astrology. She's always on top of it before I am. So that's always kind of fun to be like, Jen, what did you hear today? I'm going through this. What's happening? And so she's already seen something about it. So she always helps me out in that case. So I do appreciate her. And so yeah, it'll be great to hang out with her. So that's going to be next weekend's show. So Jen and I will be side by side, and we're going to have a good time, and you guys will love it. So hey, Carrie, it was a very last minute. I just finally posted the show literally like an hour or two ago. I wasn't sure I was going to do the show because I did mention in a post this morning I was dealing with the kidney stones, which is what I've had for 20 plus years of my life. So it just kind of got to the point where it was a little bit more than the usual. So I was uncomfortable last night. So I just didn't feel like sitting, because I'd either sit, lay, or walk around to just kind of ease some of the the aches and pains. And even with being high pain tolerance, I'm still it still gets to me, but luckily today's completely half of what it was yesterday, so it's still there. It's just like a bad bruising, so to speak. But so that's probably why you didn't see it, Carrie, it just because it was so last minute. Because again, even now it's like if it starts to get more uncomfortable, then I'm just gonna I'm gonna end the show a little early. But yeah, no, I mean, I do appreciate the love and support, and it's just I'm used to it. And so I don't talk about it because it's just, hey Jeff, I just don't bring it up because it's just not something. Hey Margaret, because again, I mentioned this in the beginning of the show. It's like you guys it would get old quick. For me to talk about, whether it's every day or several times a week that I'm passing kidney stones, it would get old because it's just like, doesn't he do anything else? Doesn't he talk about anything else? So you guys don't hear it because again, it's so all the time that it's just not something that you guys need to hear about and be annoyed with. So I save you from all that kind of fun stuff. But so that's probably why, Carrie. But I'm still glad you made it. No big deal. Yeah, because like I said, I wasn't even sure how much or what I was going to talk about, and I did put in there because we're almost there. Because I've kind of already did the normal stuff. I talked about what the week was like and what's coming up, and then what I was going to talk about was I was going to post. In fact, I'm going to do, where is that? I'm going to show you guys something that I posted. I got to find it again. Where to go? I got to open it. I mentioned it, or I put it in a post, and it was kind of interesting because I saw a lot of, there were some comments, and I thought it was very interesting. And I'm going to put this up, but I'm going to hold off before I go back. All right. I just had to get that set. So, I wanted to bring up, because again, I always try to have some sort of topic, and I thought this was kind of fun, and it was something I saw a friend post, and I was like, I got to hold on to that because I think it's going to be kind of cool at some point to bring it up. Hey, Rhonda, good morning. Bring it up and chat about, and just kind of even see what everybody else's opinions are of it too, because there were some great comments and things, and made me have to think a little bit more about it. But if you guys looked at the title, I wanted to touch on ego versus yourself, and I was fascinated by it because you can clearly tell and we can go down a way. So that's the thing, is we always run out of time, so we can't go deep. But you can always look at, the people that are full of egos, and then the people that are full of, their self, meaning, or excuse me, self, but their soul. They're not, they're looking for the greater good of things versus, everything spins around me type of thing. So I did want to kind of bring that up. Oh, thanks, Brenda. I wasn't I'm not quite ready to put a winter pickup just yet. I mean, I know we're there, but technically winter season hasn't even officially begun, even though, yes, we are in that final push. And it's December. So, I mean, I really could start pushing those type of things. But then again, how many people want to see snow, just yet? I mean, we've all seen it, but who wants to just kind of be immersed in snow right now? So I figure once we get maybe another week or two, then I'll throw a snow background up in there. But we'll see. I'm trying to hold off. Don't want to jinx it. but, but yeah, so I wanted to bring it up. So if you guys missed the post, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm going to go full screen. So I'm going to disappear for a second as soon as I get my mouse back. But I wanted you guys to see it up close so you can read some of the stuff. And I'm just going to kind of talk in the background. So there you go. I'll let you guys read that, and hopefully you can. That's why I try to go full screen on it there. And I'll give you just a second. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. And of course, with these versus type of thing, like I said, ego versus soul, there's way more than just this. There is more things you can add to both sides, of course, but this just kind of gives you a nice little quick little broad idea of the differences between them. And hopefully, a lot of you are pushing more on the soul side, your true self, because it's a little bit more of a better life. And, we realize when it's not everything is wrapped around us and we're not the center of attention, because there's clear, indications of that. And we've all experienced people that you are, so to speak, full of themselves. It's a good way to put it, without being too mean. And so, you can clearly tell the people that are wrapped around things, that, they have to, everything's got to be done their way. They have to, everybody's got to, in a way, bow down to them type of thing. And that could be taken a lot of different ways, meaning, they get, they're just in control, they're in charge and stuff. And so I think it's important to know the differences. And like I said, if you read through some of those, you can kind of get an idea of, just some of the ways to describe, both sides there. You know, and again, this has nothing to do with religion and things like that. And so for me, even just going more of a spiritual path, for years now, there's always been that progression of trying to get away from the concepts of, here, I'll pop back in for a second. The concept of really pushing more towards yourself. Your enlightenment is another great word. A lot of monks use that term, is where you're not letting everything get to you. So you're not, surrounding yourself with, tons of materials, which you can see on the ego side. If you're having this, that, and the other. Now, granted, we all know we can't be perfect. That's just not how it is. I mean, we need things to survive, and the idea of not having things. I mean, I sure, have my little, collectibles and souvenirs and trinkets and things like that all over the place. And, is that, does that mean something's in crazy, over the top for me? Hey, Donna, good morning. Hey, Christine. Does that mean that, you're full of ego and stuff? I think there's a balance to it, of course. And, so there is some things that we are going to lean one way a little bit, and, but I think it's, done in a good way. Yeah, I guess that's sort of a way I want to kind of push towards. We have things that just bring us joy, and but we all know too that if we don't have it, it's not the end of the world. I mean, because obviously, if you, hey Brenda, Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll have some fun and talking about ego and self. And so hopefully you can stick around. But you know, like I said, we all know people that that are full of ego. Uh, you know, I think a great way to even talk about that is like look at a lot of celebrities, and I'm talking like whether it's artists, musicians, actors, actresses. uh, you can see a difference, especially like when they are, uh, let's say they're starting off. Sometimes when they're not getting the lead roles, but they're a little bit further down, or artists that are fresh on the scene, like a solo artist or a band. You can see if you go back and nowadays there's so much people that are recording things, videoing things, so you can see the difference. And you clearly can tell when those type of celebrities have, hey Deb. Yeah, it started getting really windy last night, so I feel you. But the you can see how the more attention they get, the more popular they get, the more uh famous they are. Some of them, it gets to them, it gets to their heads, and they start acting a lot differently than what it was when they started off with. So, and I'm going to bounce out of that. So it's unfortunate, and a lot of times it's because of how you're subjected to those things. You get somebody saying you're great all the time. you know I've made sure, because I know I don't ever want to be that way. I don't want to ever have ego um running my life for me. I want to be able to just be able to be open and do this, that, and the other kind of thing. And I don't want it to dominate me and be something I'm not. And there's there's not a whole lot you can change. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot you that these people can do. All you can do is hope that maybe one day they'll wake up and not be that way. Now, granted, a lot of them are making money, and that you know the it that does another thing is, again, materialism. Money is in that category. So they make a lot of money, they can do a lot of things, and then they gotta, they can only drink this expensive champagne type of thing, or we can only be in a 5-star hotel. Things like that. Yeah, Christine, yep, ego can halt abilities, absolutely. And that's a very good thing. In fact, I want to put that up there real quickly. That is huge, especially for any of us that are doing metaphysical, holistic type of practices. We can't have ego in this, because it's either going to get really cloudy or it's just going to stop. And I definitely don't want that to happen, because I love what I do. I love giving readings, I love doing healings. I like just being able to listen to people that are having or dealing with situations, because I mean, to be able to just be that person that's willing to just hear them out. I mean, that's it. I mean, we all should be that way. And I talked about it before, because I remember, a native elder always told me once, and I'm going to repeat myself if you haven't heard this before, but we have 2 ears versus 1 mouth, because we can hear twice as much as we should be speaking. So that is that's always stuck with me for a long time. And I think it's so true that we need to listen a little bit more than we speak. Doesn't mean that you can't speak, but always listen to everything. And even then, listening to everything doesn't mean audibly. There's a way to listen to the energy, there's a way to listen to life. And a lot of that becomes into a feeling or a knowing situation. But it's the point of stopping. And again, when you stop, you start looking at yourself a little bit more, so you're not pushing this ego where you're just this big mighty thing. And another point on Chris's statement about the abilities. See, I've always known that too, that me, before I realized I was going to go open up that mediumship door aspect, that's a huge deal. I really was, opening that door. Once you go through that door, you just don't know what's going on. But I wanted it so much that I don't want it to be taken away from me, not that it still can't, but I'm going to do everything I can to be completely open to things. I'm not going to let it get to me. Oh, just because, I've never given you a reading and we have a great session and reveal all the stuff that I've never known about, and there's no way I would have known about, it doesn't mean that I'm anything great or special about it, and that's how that works. I'm not sitting there saying I wasn't the only person that could pick up on this stuff either. Plenty, hundreds and thousands of others that could do the same thing. We were at the right place at the right time, and that's just the way it is. And so I don't let that, don't get me wrong, it is kind of cool, and anybody that does mediumship doesn't, it's kind of nice to get some validation just to kind of reassure you a little bit. Sure, that leans a little ego, but you don't want to give a bad session to a client, that's especially if they're paying for it. And so there is a little bit of that shows up, which I think is healthy. But again, I mean, I've talked to several of my medium friends, some that, are watching, some that, aren't, but we've all been there. We all like, once in a while, it's nice to kind of know, because it's not important for us to even have the client say anything back to us. They could sit there with a stone face and not say anything. And I've had that. I've had them where they were not going to give me any indication, which is great. And I love that. And it's fun. Then at the end, then they finally feel, hey, can I share what, everything that you were talking about? And they do. And it's a weird thing because, when they're not giving you any emotions, they're not giving you any reactions to anything that you're sharing with them, that you're getting and receiving, that then when they finally say, well, you were spot on here and you're spot on here. And it's like, wow, okay. But at the same time, that's okay. It's not, if they got something out of it, that's more important than what I was doing. Because again, anybody else can do these things. Christine was saying, our ears hear, our souls feel. I love that. That's beautiful. Chad, ego and confidence are two sides of the pit of balancing act. Unless you go out there with a balance bar, you can't learn into them, just fall into them. But ego and confidence are great tools. Personally, they have opened doors in life experiences that most don't get, because we usually don't say, I can do this, crux and balance the bar. Yeah, it is. There is a balance to it. Obviously, again, you want to lead a little bit more towards the soul side of things. You really want to, be there for everybody. I guess that's the best way to put it. You're open, even if you're not a big social person, you're not doing lives, you're not, hanging out with tons of people type of thing. Like, you're not going to events, but there's still ways that when you go out in public, you're going to the grocery store, you're just going shopping for whatever you need. There's an energy you can give off to everybody else around you. You can be happy inside, and that spreads out. And when you walk past people that may be feeling a little bit down, but they get a little taste of your energy, that you're just, hey, love and light type of thing. And it might just pick them up. Now, you didn't directly, on purposely give them that, but they walk through it, and that can change them. It can get them out of a down moment or something like that. But that's how you could go out there and help. So you, as a bigger person, can sit there and radiate all this, positivity back out there. So it's not you holding it and keeping it all for yourself. You're going to share it. The soul side is wired. Brenda, your vibe is on. Oh, well, thanks, Brenda. I'm trying, so that's another thing. I do the best I can. I love what I do. I balance a lot of stuff in life. I still have a day job. I still try to do all my other things when I can. Got a family, so yeah, I do the best I can. And, there's great days and bad days, but we're all in that, we all have the, there's not something that's always a perfect, perfect life, so to speak. We got challenges, and there's things that we all have to do, and there's things that we have to learn. I know I've talked about this before, there's aspects of my life that, have completely changed for the better. And I love that. I love the fact that I've been able to do this more, where I can try to help others, because it's not about me. It's what can I do to provide and help heal, in any shape or form. And it's, I don't necessarily am looking for a reward for it, and that's a huge, thing for making sure ego's in check. I'm not looking for a reward. Sure, those of us that do this a lot, yes, we do appreciate compensation, because it is our time. You know what I mean? So it's not to be rich over it. You know what I mean? We're not making millions of dollars doing this stuff, because I've always told people, for a while, my prices, were really low. And I would, get flack from a lot of my friends that had been doing this a while. They're like, you shouldn't be doing that anymore. Yeah. And for me, because I really, this year, I raised my prices, but it's because, it's my time. And it's just like everything else, it's not a job, but to others, it is. It's a way of taking care of myself and making sure I can continue to do this. However, I do often do a lot of free stuff, you know. I'm hoping, before the end of the year, I want to do another pop-up show at some point. It'll be during the week. In the evening, it'll just be free readings, so you get a message or two. So there is ways that, like that, is I'm balancing it out for myself. So I'm not always saying I need to be paid for every single thing I do. I still want to be able to provide, information. It's a message or two. You get a little something from it, and you can go on. So it's not always about me. It's what I can still do to provide for everybody else. So, but don't get me wrong, I would love to do this full time. I would love to be able to, make what I'm making for my day job. So that way I could sustain myself and still be able to have a roof over my head and keep the power on, so to speak, and keep, some food on the table. So, there's things to that, which is why, it's nice to be compensated for that. But at the same time, it's not ego driven. So, hey, Carrie Lynn, good to see you. I miss you. I haven't seen you in several years now. So, well, thank you, Margaret. You were looking ahead. You shouldn't have done that. What was Chad saying? I want to go back up real quick because I was missing some things here. Let's see. Christine, when Bob and I go out together, we have random people come up and chat, always like long friends. They must feel, yeah, see, that's perfect, Christine. I love that. Yeah, it is. That is exactly like how it was for me, with this Florida trip with these kids, and the other chaperones. I mean, you recognize a few of them, but never gotten, long conversations prior. And for me, you guys are, most of you are used to seeing me all the time. And, I let it just kind of work in there, I take my time, and just trying to be friendly, make some comments, and, eventually everybody's having fun. You guys know I love to crack jokes because you see them all the time. So I start cracking jokes with everybody. So that helps lighten the mood even more. And now everybody's having a good time. We're smiling, and, and then even then having all the kids, the high school kids, just really, so many of them were wanting to talk and hang out with me and stuff. And it wasn't something I was even pushing for. I was just going to be myself. And if people wanted to hang out, great. If they didn't, that's fine too. I'm going to have a good time. And so, you just kind of, you give out that energy, you're just doing what you can to make people smile, happy, even if you're not saying anything, you're just giving that stuff off. And so, yeah, that's awesome. Chad saying, live in the middle with the balance, lean into ego with skill and confidence. That's a good way to put that, Chad. I like that. Margaret, it does help others. Empaths get exhausted being in public because they could pick up on all the spectrum of emotions and positivity. Yeah. You do have to, that's the thing, is where you do have to protect yourself, because you can only give out so much before then you kind of waste it. Cause then it's like running like a marathon, you're going to get tired, just like doing readings and healings. If I do it, for like a holistic fair, yeah, by the end of it, I'm pretty exhausted, and it's crazy to think that all I'm sitting there doing is getting information and then sharing it. Or if I'm doing healing, it's still exhausting. It's wild to think sometimes. Let's see. Carrie saying, I was struggling with confidence versus ego, found it comes with superiority than ego. If self-ability, confidence, was struggling. Yeah, I know. I got you, Carrie. Yeah, no, it is. It is a constant thing, and it's important that you guys are recognizing that. So if you realize that you're, things are, you kind of feel like you got this big crown over your head and that you're getting a little, then you gotta pull that back. You don't want to let it go too far, because it does, you start leaning a little bit in the negative side of things, and then you might have some negativity come back at you because it's got to get you back into check again. Because I guarantee, like I mentioned earlier, you get a lot of celebrities that once they've become so popular, a lot of them have that ego. You can see that attitude that they just don't want to be around certain people, yet we're the people that are helping you be where you are, but yet you forgot to be humble and, and be thankful and grateful for those, fans, so to speak. So, uh, it is always going to be a balance, but it's important that you recognize when it gets too far. And I know I have said it several times, and I've even said it today. I'm watching myself to where, and by the way, it's 10:10. So all you number people, here, I'm gonna put that in the chat. 10:10. I love that. I caught it at the right moment. I was looking up. So um I let's see what you put forth, you get back threefold. Absolutely, Christy. And that's exactly it. Because yeah, if you that's where I was gonna actually go with. If you are so thank you. Yeah, if you're pushing to where you're helping others out, even if you're not doing like mediumship or you're not doing some sort of metaphysical or holistic type of support for others, um it's still important to be be the type of person that you want to get back. And that's a great way of kind of like of helping, I can't, I'm wanting to talk so fast I'm tripping over everything. So uh um like what Christine was saying, uh you know karma, that's another great way to put it. So if you want good stuff to happen to you, you gotta give it out, even if it doesn't mean it's going to be instant, that you're going to get something back. It's the point of that you're doing it, and everything will line up when it needs to happen. And so, I've had, some of the summer was pretty rough for me, but when I changed everything, I started, being positive, even if something wasn't great. And then I started having good things coming back. And that's how that works. I wasn't expecting it to, because I know it's going to happen when it's supposed to, but it shows up when it needs to, and it's great. And so, if you're going to start pushing more negative stuff, or you're going to start making ego like your thing, and you're going to be doing all this and that, and then you're just like, things are going to happen. You're going to have some rough spots in life. And so that's that balance. It's going to, the universe is going to, show itself, for the good stuff, and it's going to show itself for the bad stuff, and it's going to try to keep you in check. And it's great if you recognize it. It's awesome if you can recognize it, because again, yeah, it will. If you can recognize it fast, you can correct it or fix it, or switch gears, turn the right direction, and head where you need to be. Because obviously, who hasn't made mistakes? We all have, and so you learn from them. And so it's the same thing. At least from the universe standpoint, they will kind of redirect you and be like, it's not that good idea to do that right now. And the same. And I'm using universe as a broad term. You have guides, you have angels, those that support you, behind the scenes in a way. So they're there. They're the ones that are helping too. I'm just using universe as a whole. But what do we got? Margaret, the Beatles crashed after they stated that they were more popular. See that? There you go. That's a perfect analogy of, you stand up on that pedestal, and then stuff happens. Christine, timing is everything. Absolutely. Don't push for something to happen. Let it manifest when you're ready to receive. Absolutely. Even like mediumship, I wanted it so badly that every day I want this, I want this, I want this, because I want to help, and that was the key. It's one thing to say I want it, but what are you going to do with it? Are you true to your heart? Are you really going to help people? And I think a lot of that, I've sitting there, have given readings to a lot of you, or even if it's just been a short one. So, yeah, let's see. And then Carrie Lynn, I struggle with confidence every day. I just don't understand why people do and say things they do, especially when they lie to you and you catch them. Yeah, Carrie Lynn, that's interesting that you say it, because yes, I've seen the same thing. It's interesting from my seat, to do what I do, meaning to be as nice as I can be for everybody. Like, I don't want to sit there and even if I disagree with you on something, I'm not going to give you garbage for it. I'm not going to talk down on you, that sort of thing. Cause I know what that'll turn around and bite me. You know what I mean? So there's a thing, and it's bad to say that even this year, I've had several people that have done just that, done the same thing. They've completely reverse gears. They've lied. And I'm sitting there going, what happened? All I was doing was being good about it. All I was trying to do was be positive. And yet they twist it. Now that's on them. So I know that regardless, I'll never forget what they've done. That doesn't happen with me. So if you've done something to me, don't think I'm going to let it go, but I'm going to be a lot more I'm going to choose wisely on things that I do and say to you in the future. So, and it's not, and again, not an ego thing. That's a protection thing for me. I'm not going to be put into that position again to where you're going to hurt me. Now, like I said, I'm saying hurt, but just more disappointed. I think that's probably better for me to say that because it's disappointing to see some people turn and realizing it was issues on their end because you can clearly see it and literally in writing, you can clearly see it. So it helps even more that there's real proof to everything. So yeah, I will never forget, the people that do wrong to me. And granted, it's not the worst of the worst, you know what I mean? But that's them. They're going through issues and they obviously are finding a way to take it out on somebody and carry put it, that's narcissism. And that's exactly where I'm going with. They're gonna sit there and try to do a lot of damage and they're gonna try to take away from you from what you're doing. So yeah, it can be really interesting. Brenda, the universe has been pushing me lately hard to kick me out of my comfort zone. Yeah, now that is, we're in a position, and I've talked about this on other shows and posts, and even my presentation from weeks ago at the Old Mill Parafest. There's been a shift for several years, and now what's happening is everybody that is supposed to be more involved is being waking up, awoken. That's a weird, bad word. Awoken, awakened. There's a lot of us that are being awakened. And mine started back in 2005, but it's happening when it's supposed to. And Brenda, if you're feeling that now, that's awesome. And that's amazing. Don't be scared of it, embrace it, and just take whatever information you're getting out of it. And if you have to analyze it, you need to reach out to somebody. Of course, I mean, I'll throw my hand up there, but there are so many great people that are in this chat right now that would easily jump in there and share their information or guide you and stuff like that. I said, there's a lot of us, and this is what's great about who I'm connected with. I mean, even just in the last few comments, I see a lot of amazing people that I've hung out with, I know and worked with, and all of them right there are amazing at what they do, and they're I'm so grateful to be friends with them. So don't feel, Brenda, that you can't reach out to somebody, because especially when you're having this moment where things are happening, it's great to get connected with someone or a group of us, because again, we can help you. We've been there before. So there's a lot of useful tips and things that we can do. So keep that in mind, that you can truly reach out to any of us and we can sit there and be there for you. Even if, we never meet in person and it's just like something like this or through messages, again, reach out, if you ever have any questions. So what's up, Eric? Let's see. Tom saying, getting into gratitude is the quickest way to get out of ego. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Tom. I appreciate that. That it is true. You appreciate everything you have, even if it's not a lot, but you appreciate it. And I just said, I gave a lot of, there's a lot of people that I'm grateful in my life, and it means a lot to be connected with them, even if it's not a daily conversation with them, but seeing their name pop up, seeing them doing their things. I mean, I am so supportive. Tom, I'm just going to call him out. He's doing readings today. It's his first time he's going to be sort of doing a little bit more solo and at a shop and stuff, and that's amazing. And I can't wish him all the best, and I know he's going to be amazing at it. So it's things like that you push yourself, and you don't worry about trying to be something that you're not. Do what you're good at. So and you're welcome, Brenda. Absolutely. Like I said, reach out to us. There's a lot of us here. Yeah. Christine's got Brenda, it's called growing pains. We all went through it. That's what I'm saying. Don't hide behind it. Definitely uh, definitely reach out to any one of us. Like I said, even if it's not me and it's somebody else, like Christine or something, reach out to them, uh, because again, you're going to have more questions than you're going to get answers. And so us being able to walk you through like, hey, you're experiencing this, we can kind of tell you what we've experienced, or know somebody that has. And that's the cool thing is once you go down that path and you really embrace it, there's will always a ton more. And it's not like we know everything either. God knows we not. We're still learning too. And that's why like it's fun to have connections, because you can reach out to somebody like, hey, have you ever been through this? You ever seen this happen? And again, it's that circle where we're all there for each other all the time. And that's why this show it is what it is. It's meant to bring a lot of this stuff out on the table. That's why it's in the morning. That's why it's early. So if anybody's watching this back at a different day or at a later in the afternoon and stuff, it's still relevant. We still can get this stuff out there and connect people together and really just help each other. Again, there's helping each other doesn't cost anything, especially, if you're just dealing with something, you just want, some quick answers type of thing. And we can go there, so yeah, it's crazy, it's crazy, but at the same time, it's all meant to be, you know, and I love hearing people that are accepting it, or at least acknowledging it like Brenda has. I mean, she's, it's different. It's this crazy, all over the place. Not sure, which direction she's going and stuff. And you know, there's a lot of us that can sit there and help you get back into, or at least get you facing in a more central direction. So um, oh, well, we appreciate, like I said, Brenda, this is where you can take a lot of these shows. Not everybody here does their own shows and stuff like that, but everybody posts things. And again, we just do what we can do. You know what I mean? We truly are all in this together. We all have, specific energies, and we all can help each other in some way. We can learn from each other in some way. So even if y- there's times where I need to learn things, or I need to or vice versa, and I need to share things back. And sometimes friendships, last forever for that way. Sometimes they're a little bit shorter, because even then, sometimes I'm gonna meet somebody for the first time. I might teach them something, they might teach me something, and then, after a few months or maybe a year or two, then we kind of lose track of each other, and that's designed that way, and that's weird because it's happened, but it's weird. But at the same time, that was a important person that was right in the time that you needed them to share that information. That's happened to me this year too. I've had certain people just start communicating with me out of nowhere, and it's been great ever since. And I love that, because again, you don't have to know why right away. It'll be known the more it, whether it's a friendship or what, or it's a client or vice versa. You will learn at some point, even if it doesn't make any sense. Brenda, you showing up today, there was a reason for that, an absolute reason. And I think you can kind of start to see a little bit of a bigger picture on that. It really does kind of unfold. And so we are all grateful that you definitely stopped by, and hopefully are willing to come back and hang out some more, and, hopefully see each other at some point, at a show somewhere or wherever. It's a beautiful thing. I just love that. Margaret, one of the main lessons of this is to learn and help each other. Absolutely. Christine, we're all in school, same or different grades. It's like a senior helping a freshman. Yeah, that's a great way, Christine. I love that. That is great. It is true. I feel it. And so glad I found you all. Yeah. And the that is true. And I think that's one of the things that I learned even in high school, was to truly help those. When I was a senior, I was trying to help the freshmen out. I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable, and go figure, because you got to remember, you guys will see it, when my book finally is done, which I'm still working on. But you'll get to see a lot of that information, where I was sitting there trying to uh, be somebody, I wasn't anything much, and so to kind of break down a few layers and come out of a shell, because I was super shy, and to then see what others were doing and how impactful it was, even as a teenager. And then when I was a senior, knowing that there was a senior when I was a freshman that was doing that, where he was helping us, especially me, being a freshman, you're scared for your life sometimes, but he was willing to help out. And so I did the same thing. And I made sure that the freshmen didn't feel worried or they had to be looking over their backs, so to speak. So, that is a thing that I've continued on, through my life. And it was something I always knew. It was just, it finally showed up at the right time. Um, let's see, Carrie Lynn, I'm thankful every day for what I have and don't have. I try to make a difference in someone's life every day. You make a difference in someone's life every day. Thankful for you. I am positive many people are. Oh, Carrie, yeah, absolutely. Eric's saying our own packs, homies, circle of friends definitely can be a huge help for, yeah. You're right, and you got to lean on them. I mean, your true friends are going to be there for you regardless of what you're going through. The good times, the bad times, and even the bad times. It's just being there. They may not have the ultimate fix in it. There might not be a great way to do, but just being there for you, knowing that hey, I'm here. You want to hang out? We don't have to talk about whatever you might be going through, but let's just hang out, get some dinner, whatever. Go go see a movie. What it's just a point of just being there and just being able to share some space, and it just helps you mentally. Absolutely. Yeah. And Christine, this is our safe space. We can talk about anything. We're going through. You're welcome, Christine. That's important. Soul Tribes. Nikki's got that's it. That is the way it is. That's the way it should be. Yep. Do yellow eyes mean anything? Well, Brenda, so it depends on the situation that you're looking into. Uh, are you talking something you've seen in a dream, or are you talking something you've seen in somebody, like physically? I guess let's put it that way, because we can go both ways, and I only really technically have a few more minutes left, but because I usually try to keep this to an hour, flat if I can. But let me know if it's like something like physically somebody has yellow eyes, or if it's in a dream. Um, because that's a huge thing, and I do dream interpreting, so that's a whole nother fun little avenue I like to go down to. So, or even if it was a daydream. So whether it's a dream overnight or a daydream, let me know. But yeah, and you guys know that even then, like, I always sign off, and I always try to um you know make sure that I am appreciative of everybody that can make the show. I'm appreciative. Dream like I knew. Okay, so it was a daydream, like I knew it was coming. Okay, so Brenda, yellow eyes in a lot of let's see, point to the super grateful. Cool, Eric, man, thanks. Brenda, the neat thing about that is with yellow eyes, they're meant to stand out. Now, we can look at dreams. That's cool. Nope, nope. Even if it's just like a thought that you were conscious, but you shifted off to. I mean, a lot of us do daydream, but sometimes it's usually on something more topic related, like a work situation or a family situation. But if you saw the yellow eyes, they were meant to stand out to you. Okay. A lot of dreams, they have things that, like, when you see like somebody evil that's like doing some bad things, it's not necessarily that's what it truly means. It could mean a situation in life that you're doing. Just like, if you do get a tarot reading, the death card doesn't mean you're going to die. It's just the ending of a situation or the death of a situation, and then a new one will be born. So the yellow eyes are really there to make you see it, make you understand that there is something going on here. Which is why sometimes these dreams can be really intense, or why they can be scary. So, given whatever you were seeing in the dream, in the daydream, look at what the character was doing. What was the situation, type of thing. Right. Absolutely, Eric. That's exactly the way to look at it. It did not mean you're going to die. But Brenda, look at what it was like in theme. And if it happens repetitively, it's because you're not seeing it. You're not seeing what the message is. And unfortunately, dreams are difficult when you can't pinpoint them. But what you do is seeing what those yellow eyes are, look at what's happening in the dream, then shift it to what's going on in your life. Okay. Look at everything in life, yourself, family, your work, relationships. Look at everything and see if that dream is starting to line up with something in your life. And that's the best way, and in a short amount of time, to kind of talk about dream interpreting, because a lot of what you see in your dream is related to something in life, whether it's something that's happened, or needs to happen or is in the future. That is that's why, if anybody ever comes to me for a dream, I need as much as you can remember, and in the order that it is. Just tell me it from top to bottom, because then I will go through it line by line, or if it's a couple sentences, in the same part of that dream. Everything means something as we go down the list. It's not just an overall half the time. It's not just like, here's this whole dream. What does it mean? No, there's actually elements to it. There's multiple messages. Just like if I am connecting with family doing a mediumship reading, it's not just always one message. There's multiple messages coming through. So, yeah. And right. Christine's, exactly. It's cautionary. But that's why I say you got to see what the situation is to see why it's standing out the way it does, because it's getting your attention. That's the whole point. So, but yeah, I mean, if you want to share more, Brenda, hit me up, and we can kind of dive through it a little bit more, just hit me up in the messages and we can go from there. So 10:31, I am going to get on with my day. So I am glad that, my back hung out, that I wasn't able to, I didn't have to cut the show short. So I'm happy. Still brought that energy. You guys know that I'm never going to boo-hoo it all. So I mean, I'm glad that I was able to do that. Let's see, Eric, real quick. The thing that I always remind myself and tell others I do tarot reading for is the spirit always knows and the cards don't lie. Yeah, that's a great way. That is a great way. Yeah, Eric, absolutely, buddy. So true. Yeah, I mean, everything, it all happens, and it has to, and it is what it is. There is no, you don't have to sit there, well, why did that happen? No, because it was supposed to. So yeah, cool, Brenda. So yeah, I am going to get out of here. You guys go on. I'm going to go rest a little bit. I'm going to still finish up. See, I never finish my coffee. Do these shows, I never finish. So so I'm going to finish that, and then yeah, I'm going to still chill a little bit today. Got some fun tomorrow. There's our city has got a holiday celebration, so the kids are going to be marching, so I'm going to go check that out. And plus, I haven't seen them in a few weeks, so I'm sure it'll be fun to see the kids again. So it'll be cool. Other than that, just going to try to enjoy the weekend, and then I'm off all next week, so I won't be doing a day job. But I am going to try to start reaching out to people and see if I can sneak in a few scheduled sessions with them, and even then throughout the rest of the year, pending everybody's schedule, with the holidays and things that can get intense, which we know. So, and then again, I will post about it, but next weekend, my good friend Jennifer Passavant, I'm going to be over with her. We're going to do a show together, so that's going to be awesome. And I can't wait. I can't wait to sit down with her, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. So, yep, Christine, you take care, Chad. Yep. I mean, little by little, that's all I'm doing. Just staying positive. You got to do that. Nikki, thank you so much. Christine, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Carrie. But all right, so you guys have a good one. Anybody's got any questions or suggestions on things, hit me up privately. And other than that, enjoy your weekend. Stay warm for all those in the colder climates like us. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. I will keep you guys posted on how I'm doing, of course, so that way you guys are knowing how it's good. So at least I've been distracted enough to where I don't feel too bad, but we'll see once I calm down from doing this. So we'll see. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the wonderful, wonderful, comments and all the suggestions, and even like, us all being there for Brenda, her checking this out for the first time. And so, yeah, we'll all be sending love and light to everybody. So, Eric, you as well. So yes, thank you again. I will see you guys again soon. As always, all my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. And I will see you again very, very soon. Take care.